Apareceu a luzinha. Agora sim. Boa tarde a todos e todas, famílias educadoras e a todos que estão aqui conosco hoje, nos ouvindo nessa tarde. Temos a grande alegria e o prazer e honra de apresentar o professor Groof, que veio nos visitar, esteve em São Paulo, está aqui conosco no Rio de Janeiro, e depois irá a Brasília e Salvador. O professor é um especialista em direito educacional, direitos humanos, e vai estar falando conosco hoje. Então, eu gostaria de passar a palavra para ele e agradecer. Thank you so much, Professor Jan, for being with us this afternoon.
It's a pleasure. It's a privilege.
Okay, so Professor, we would like to hear what you have to say to the families here in Brazil, and also to the academics and to those involved in the lawmaking process about your experiences with law and education and human rights, and also the family, and this choice of homeschooling their kids, and how do you see the subject?
Yes, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, Vanya. I would prefer to meet all of you in person, because it's a rather unusual lecture or conference right now, being here in Sao Paulo, but still not close to all of you. But if you can see me and if you can hear me, there's still hope that once we can meet each other in person on a very crucial issue for your future, for the future also of Brazil, namely on parental rights and how those rights are implemented in the case of homeschooling. So, but permit me first to express my gratitude to be here at the invitation of Vanya and of all of you, but also to express my deep solidarity with the families, a few families who had the drama of last hours to lose some lives, the 3 persons who died in the catastrophe of last hours. We had also some opportunity, between brackets, to meet this dramatic weather and the huge time we had. We have to try to meet each other in the future when the sun will rising again, and that will be a privilege for me. But let me go immediately to the Constitutional Court, or the Supreme Court's decision on home education on September 12th, pretending that the practice of homeschooling is unconstitutional. It's a specific reading of the Constitution, and we should be quite critical on that reading of the court. At the same time, it could be also be regarded as a sign of hope, because the Minister of Women and Family and Human Rights will introduce, with the Minister of Education, a draft regulation on homeschool for the future in Brazil. And meeting the 5,000 families in Brazil and the 10,000 kids who are involved in homeschool in the country, taking seriously into account your interest and their interest. It's an important issue. We should debate on in Brasilia next day, so I will leave for Brasilia for that conference in a couple of hours and the next day. So I hope to have long talks with the leadership on that draft regulation, because that's the reasoning. Homeschooling in Brazil is not regulated by the law. And for that reason, it seems to be unconstitutional. Well, we could start immediately a lecture on what is the reasoning of what is the solidity of that reasoning. And as I mentioned, I'm quite critical vis-a-vis that legal thinking. But the reason why the federal court already some years ago started this statement was that basically illiteracy should be eradicated, reduce up to absenteeism, and removing children and teenagers from the streets. That are the official reasons why school attendance is compulsory. The aims, the targets are lawful, but the means and the reasoning is weak. So school attendance as a right of the child is a lawful reasoning, but it should not be a monopoly of the school. That's one of my basic statements. There is no one strict reason why monopoly of the school is giving the child the guarantee of getting education. So the problem is also in Article 55 of the statute, child and adolescent, where I quote, parents have the obligation to enroll their children or pupils in the regular network of education. That's not a law in education, but that's a law specifically for the child and the adolescent. And there is also an article in the penal code making homeschooling impossible and also illegal. So there is no education law prescription, but there is some parallel law hindering parents to organize homeschooling, home education. I fear if I would start my lecture having all of you in front of me and embracing you personally, all of you, I would refer to the international indicators, because although compulsory schooling is a tradition in Brazil, the indicators are showing dramatic figures on non-attendance of school and of the dropout rate in Brazil. And I would quote different recent reports of the OECD and of UNESCO and of the World Bank, pointing out the real problem of Brazil's education system and school system, where alternatives should take into account, and home education, homeschooling is one of the most prominent alternatives of the dropout rate and of the missing quality culture in Brazil.